Then we move on to specification number 6, which states, describe the malarial pathogen as an example of a parasite and explain how it is transmitted. The malarial pathogen is Plasmodium, which is a protoctist that acts as a parasite. It is described as a parasite because it cannot survive independently and must live inside a host's body in order to complete its life cycle. Once inside the host, Plasmodium enters and lives within liver cells and red blood cells, where it feeds on the host's nutrients. As it multiplies, it damages and destroys these cells, which leads to symptoms such as fever, chills, and anemia. Because the parasite benefits while the host is harmed, Plasmodium clearly fits the definition of a parasite. Malaria is mainly transmitted by female Anopheles mosquitoes, which act as vectors, meaning they transfer pathogens from one host to another. Transmission begins when a mosquito bites an infected person and takes in blood that contains Plasmodium parasites. Inside the mosquito, these parasites develop until the mosquito is able to infect another person. When the mosquito bites again, it injects saliva into the skin of a new host to prevent blood clotting. At the same time, Plasmodium parasites are passed into the person's bloodstream, starting a new infection. Once inside the body, the parasites travel to the liver, where they infect and multiply inside liver cells. After leaving the liver, they enter the red blood cells, where they multiply again and cause the symptoms of malaria such as fever, chills, and anemia. When another mosquito bites this infected person, it takes in the parasites along with the blood and becomes infected itself. This mosquito can then pass the parasite onto another person, continuing the cycle of malaria transmission. Through this continuous cycle between mosquito and human, malaria is spread efficiently from one person to another. The cycle involves an infected person, infected liver cells, infected red blood cells, an infected mosquito, and then another mosquito that goes on to infect a second person, allowing the disease to continue spreading. To sum up, the life cycle of the malaria parasite involves both humans and mosquitoes. Malaria is caused by Plasmodium, which is a single-celled protoctist, and not by the mosquito itself. The mosquito only acts as the vector. The cycle begins when an infected female Anopheles mosquito bites a human and Plasmodium enters the bloodstream. Inside the human body, the parasite first travels to the liver, where it infects liver cells and reproduces asexually. The newly formed parasites then leave the liver and enter the bloodstream, where they infect red blood cells. When another mosquito bites this infected human, it takes in blood that contains Plasmodium parasites. Inside the mosquito, the parasite undergoes sexual reproduction. The mosquito then becomes infected and is able to pass the parasite onto another human during its next bite, completing the life cycle. Although mosquitoes are the main method of transmission, malaria can also spread through other, less common routes. These include blood transfusions if the donated blood contains Plasmodium, and the reuse of unsterilized needles, which can transfer infected blood from one person to another. Malaria can also be passed from a mother to her fetus across the placenta during pregnancy. These methods are rare, but they show that malaria can be transmitted whenever infected blood enters another person's body.